Hello friends, welcome into NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey. Alongside me is Mitchell Renz. We do have some breaking news here around the franchise tag. The deadline isn't technically till tomorrow. NFL teams are being a little bit more proactive and they're making their decisions today. First up is DeMarcus Lawrence. He has been tagged by the Dallas Cowboys for over $20.5 million. Now remember, the deadline is March 5th for a tag itself, but the extension deadline is not until July 15th. So I am very confused that Cowboys Twitter is having a meltdown right now about what's going on with DeMarcus Lawrence when if they didn't sign him today, they were going to tag him. That's just
how it was going to go. I mean, I don't really think it's that big of a I don't want to say it's not that big of a deal. I think when it comes to DeMarcus Lawrence, he was the top player in free agency. I just think it's the not quite understanding. And heck, I even had a little bit of a brain fart earlier today, and with the Grady Jarrett news. But again, you see DeMarcus Lawrence, and I think it's one of those deer in the headlight looks like, oh my God, what happened? I think it's just point blank.
Just fine. So the sides are not close to a deal. They'll be fine.
Yeah.
I still think it gets done in the end.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot let DeMarcus Lawrence hit free agency.
You also could not do that for Jadeveon Clowney either. He has, as expected, been tagged by the Houston Texans. He'll make about $15 million. As to why it's less than DeMarcus Lawrence, Clowney is an outside linebacker, so he automatically makes less than a defensive end. I know the NFL's weird, guys, but that's how things work out because they don't differentiate by edge. They do outside linebacker and defensive end for franchise tags. And also, this is the first tag for Clowney. It was the second for DeMarcus Lawrence.
Also, DeMarcus Lawrence, I think, has been much more productive than Jadeveon Clowney. Not that Jadeveon Clowney hasn't been a great player, but I still think he's kind of living off of his 2014 hype, or 2015 hype when he was the first-round pick. 2014.
He's had 9 sacks the past 2 years. He hasn't been the 10-sack guy. At one point when somebody asked me, Clowney for Lawrence, straight up, who says no? The Cowboys do.
I mean, do you think, though, that Jadeveon Clowney has been a little bit disappointing in his NFL career? Because I would make the argument that I kind of think he has.
A little bit. He's certainly not a bust by any means.
I agree.
But he has not been the
hype.
This is the premier edge rusher.
I mean, with the hype that, when he was coming out of high school, I remember watching his high school tape. And him in high school, he was like playing against, it looked like 7th graders. It was absolutely insane. And then, of course, he had that big hit against Michigan, blew it up there, and we just see all these things. But to me, I think Jadeveon's been a little bit disappointing.
All right, from more franchise tag news from the Department of, well, duh, Frank Clark also has been tagged by the Seattle Seahawks.
Thank God. And I mean, probably if there's any Raiders fans watching, if they haven't already had a heart attack for seeing the 3 names that have already been off this list, well, that's part of it. But again, not a huge surprise. Frank Clark, I think, has been one of the most consistent players for the Seahawks since he's come into the NFL.
Again, folks, we will have our live Q&A later on in the show, so use hashtag NFL in the comments section if you guys want your questions featured live on air. But again, Frank Clark, that one was not a surprise. It was very much expected. This means, by the way, Earl Thomas will hit the open market, which, again, we also knew was going to happen. Next up, the Falcons have also tagged Grady Jarrett. So, again, we went through earlier in the year. These are the players that are likely going to be tagged. For the most part, we've been correct on those. There's one different one I'm sure we'll get to at some point during the show. But Grady Jarrett, again, not being or the tag is not a surprise, I should say.
Yeah, and I mean, it's funny. I mean, there was reports even before this happened. The GM came out and said that he was very confident that he would be back, and I think Grady Jarrett is a very good player, and he's going to get a sizable contract. We don't know the number exactly yet, but again, Grady's one of the better players. It's just unfortunate that the Falcons were so injured last year that we couldn't actually enjoy a team that I think was actually pretty well put together before the year started.
Let's move to some non-franchise tag news, and that Nick Foles, who we know has not been tagged, is expected to sign with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Of course, this is not news if you guys watch Chat Sports, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Make sure you're subscribed. We've had Nick Foles pegged as one of the Jags as the favorite for quite some time.
I think
now
I put
everyone
out
else
a tweet.
is catching up.
I think I put out a tweet in early January when we first put out our Nick Foles destinations, and everyone's like, "No, he's not going there. He's not going there." Told you so. Subscribe, youtube.com/chatsportstv. And guess what? You could have put money down on BetDSI like I did. I put down $10. So I'm going to win $27.50. Yeah, tell me what to do with the money.
I locked in the day those odds came out. It's perfect there. Now let's assume that Nick Foles signs with the Jags, Mitch. How many games does he end up winning? Excuse me.
That's still, I think, a tough division. What, they won 5 games last year, 12 the year before that. Let's go in the middle. Let's say like 9.
what does the defense look like? Because if the defense is good, then they'll be good. If it's what we saw this year,
I also think that defense was frustrated AF because they had to watch Blake Bortles try to throw a football. And
for sure.
Leonard Fournette didn't want to play. I mean, the Jaguars offense was just about like seeing you wake up every single morning this past weekend ugly.
Oh, I was fine. All right, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI, the internet's #1 sportsbook. Head over to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code LIVE120 for a 120% deposit bonus. You put down $50, they're going to give you $60 for free. If you bet on Nick Foles, the Jags, you probably are going to win. But even if you didn't, that bonus money, you still got plenty left over to bet with. Chatsports.com/bet. That promo code, again, is LIVE120. It's best out there, Mitch.
Can't find a better one. I literally challenge you guys to find a better one. And if you do, hit me up at Mitchell Renz 365. Hit Tom up at What Going Down, because I think you're fake news.
All right, let's move to Antonio Brown because there's always something going on here. Now, as he continues to find a way to hurt his trade value, he has refused to delay his roster bonus due on March 17th, which is notable because if the Steelers have to pay that, and they might not have to regardless based on when it actually gets paid out, which is guaranteed on March 17th, at that point they actually lose money if they trade him away, beyond the already dead money. So this cap hit's around 22, I'm rounding here.
Yep.
If they trade him, it's like 21, but if they trade him after the roster bonus, it's 23.
So they would have to pay him $23 million to not play on their team.
Yeah.
Wow.
The dead money at that point surpasses his cap hit.
That's insane to me. And I mean, I think it's kind of funny that we're talking about Antonio Brown, Mr. Big Chest. We have all these negative things to say about him because when you look at the numbers, the dude had a career-high 15 touchdowns and 6 straight years of over 1,000 yards, first receiver ever to do that. He's absolutely insane. But if you want to look up a blueprint or how to make your trade value go down for dummies, maybe Antonio Brown should be the one to write it.
So he's the diva. That we know what he is. So who is the bigger diva, T.O. or technically Mr. Big Chest, but A.B. for this purposes?
It's my quarterback. Probably still going to go with A.B. though.
I don't know. Antonio Brown never did the sit-ups in the driveway.
Imagine if Terrell Owens played in this time of with social media and all that. It would be insane.
We are live streaming the sit-ups from T.O. That's what's happening there. Never mind the reporters. He's just live streaming every single workout.
You could put Ocho Cinco on this list we talked about.
Ocho Cinco was awesome. He was not on the same scale as T.O. and Mr. Big Chest.
Well, type in what you guys want. T.O. for Owens, A.B. for Brown. Let us know. Hit us up on IG and Twitter. Mitchell Renz 365. What going Downey? Guess what? More AB news.
So now the report from Ian Rappaport is that the Raiders, Broncos, and Cardinals have interest. Yesterday, we had the report from Adam Schefter that the Titans, Redskins, and Raiders were showing interest. So we got 2 different reports, and there's only one common team, Mitchell, the Oakland Raiders.
The Raiders. And I mean, I guess I've heard the reports. Heck, there's also been reports out there that the Steelers don't want to send AB to an AFC team. I think at the end of the day, AB has thrown so much you-know-what at the wall, and now there's just a whole bunch of stuff sticking, and it kind of stinks. Here's the thing, though. Again, he's really good. If the Raiders, they are the one common team on this list. If they are invested in Derek Carr and they want to see what he's got this year, a good way to do it is to go out and get Antonio Brown.
What are you giving up for him?
Second-round pick. I'm not giving up one of the first-rounders. From at this point, I've seen that AB doesn't want to play at the Steelers. Second-round pick for the Raiders, 35th overall. I would do it.
All right, let's talk draft then about the Oakland Raiders here. Are they in love with Kyler Murray, Mitchell?
Yeah, and I think they would be stupid not to be. That doesn't mean they're going to draft him, though. And now there's multiple reports out there, Peter King, that Gruden is a bad poker player. That's fine with me. I need him to be a head coach. I don't need him to play poker. I get what he's meaning. He's meaning that he's just saying that, oh, they want Derek Carr. They don't want Kyler Murray because they are very interested in Murray. But again, all these rumor talks are coming from teams that, you know, it's like the Giants. There's ones from the Cardinals. There's from the Raiders. Like, I just think it's smoke.
It's silly season. It's lying season. You guys can believe whatever you want. That's kind of how lying season works. Believe what you already believed in and ignore information that disagrees with you. Plus, When was the last time John Gruden didn't love a quarterback? He loves every quarterback
He loves
ever.
Nathan Peterman.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, I love Gruden. I think what he's doing for the Raiders is right. But again, if I'm him, I am going to talk up Kyler Murray and make teams that think that they are going to draft him, because then guess what? Maybe a team's going to trade up for the number 4 pick, and you get even more picks.
Mitchell, what was the rumor that I guaranteed to you in week 17 of the NFL season was going to happen?
Haskins or Murray, somebody's going to trade up for him.
No, you got it wrong. I said that it would be leaked that the Raiders wanted a quarterback. It was a guaranteed rumor for exactly what you just said. Either A, get the team to leapfrog Oakland, someone falls to them, or they trade the 4th pick anyway.
Yeah, go follow
Makes
him. At
sense.
what's going down,
See?
he's not so bad. But
Sometimes.
between Derek Carr or Kyler Murray, who's the better quarterback? C for Carr, M for Murray.
Right now, Derek Carr. But like career-wise, probably
it's
Kyler.
interesting, right?
It's a toss-up.
I would say right now
Can you guarantee me like 2015-16 Derek Carr?
No. Can you guarantee me Heisman Trophy winner Kyler
Very
Murray?
fair. I can't do it.
Okay, exactly.
All right,
Comment below.
Yeah, we'll stick with the Kyler Murray theme here. About Josh Rosen, maybe he's only worth the 3rd-round pick if he gets traded. And this is a very good point from former NFL GM Mike Lombardi, that if the Cardinals shop Rosen, that means everyone knows they're picking Kyler Murray, and the value goes down.
Correct.
And you can't let that happen. So what you do is you do the opposite. You say in leak that you're going to take Kyler Murray, and that keeps Rosen's value high, and it increases the value for Murray in the number 1 overall pick.
This entire Josh Rosen, Kyler Murray, Kingsbury, it's just an absolute...
Maybe I'm wrong. But I like to traffic in logic here. And show me where the logic is of the Arizona Cardinals hiring a head coach, trading up for a really good quarterback prospect in Josh Rosen as a top 10 pick, giving him 1 year behind a 2nd and 3rd string offensive line, sometimes 4th stringers that were signed that week to start, having no offensive skill players in the passing game besides Larry Fitzgerald, having your OC get fired a quarter of the way into the season, hiring a failed college head coach for the sole purpose of developing your young quarterback.
To then draft Kyler Murray.
Who's not as good of a prospect as Josh Rosen is. Ignore why you hired Cliff Kingsbury in the first place and punt on your rookie quarterback because you set him up to fail and then get way less value back. I don't think that makes any sense for Arizona. I think it is smoke to drive up interest to get the number 1 overall pick, because a quarterback going number 1 is inherently more valuable in value in a trade than going at defensive end. And Arizona has so many needs, they got to get somebody else.
Next on 60 Minutes, Tom goes off on why he loves Josh Rosen.
I did love Josh Rosen. He's a good quarterback. He was number 2 quarterback last year. All right, I will let you do this one, Mitchell, because I'm angry. Le'Veon Bell, what's the interest going on there?
There's a lot of stuff going on with Le'Veon Bell, and according to some reports, the Jets are undeniably the favorite for Bell. And again, if you subscribe to youtube.com/chatsportstv, we've been telling you for 2 months that Le'Veon Bell is probably going to end up going to the New York Jets because they have a lot of needs and they have a lot of money. Now, apparently also the Eagles and the Buccaneers, they're also contenders in there. And FanSided came out and said the Raiders, the Jets, and possibly the Ravens. But to me, it just seems like it makes too much sense for the Jets. The perfect need. They need a running back, and they got the money. Sounds like they want Le'Veon Bell. And then there was reports out there that Le'Veon was 260 pounds. It kind of sounds like that was fake news.
You know where that came out of, right?
New York.
Came out of New York. Leverage contract talk right there. That's what that is.
But, I mean, when you look at Le'Veon the last 4 years, I mean, there's no doubt, Tom, to me, he's one of the best running backs in the league, if not the best running back in the league. I mean, 406 touches, 336 touches, 372 touches. Like, he's one of the best running backs in the NFL. So you know what I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
Who's the best running back in the NFL right now?
Zeke.
Zeke?
Gurley's got knee arthritis, man.
I was thinking C.J. Anderson because apparently he's playing over Gurley, so apparently he's the guy. We want to know from everybody watching. Everybody watching. You watch us on Facebook, YouTube. Comment below. Who's the best running back in the NFL? If you want to know what I think, I'll get my comment section later. Let you guys know.
All right, one last rumor here. The Titans are going to, I guess maybe news item. Titans are going to dump Jonathan Cyprien If you go way back to our players who could be cut for each NFL team, we had Cyprien pegged with the Tennessee Titans.
It's almost like we know what we're talking about.
This is not a huge surprise here. Now, they might want him back for less money, but they're going to save $5.3 million against the cap, and it makes a lot more sense as far as I'm concerned to go re-sign my main man, Kenny Vaccaro.
You love Kenny Vaccaro.
I told everyone.
Like, I think this is just one of those, like, they want him, they just don't have the money to do it.
Yeah, they're a little bit tight. They have to, at some point to save some money there.
So I think you could say that on camera.
There you go. So the Titans have indeed saved money there by cutting Jonathan Cyprien.